What's up YouTube? My name is Vince and today I'm going to go over part 2 of a Security Plus practice test. If you're studying for your exam, I definitely encourage you to follow along with me. If you missed part 1, you can find links in the description down below. And let's get right into it. Question 21. The multi-factor authentication system like the short message service is mostly affected by SMS injection attack, narrowband, SIM cloning, or Zigbee. I haven't really heard of an SMS injection attack. Narrowband doesn't sound right, and Zigbee is like an IoT network protocol. So let's go with SIM cloning, because if someone clones your SIM, they can get the messages that are intended for you. The director of your company understands that for cryptographic systems, computational overheads are a concern. What can you do to limit the computational needs of the company's solution? Apply steganography. I explained what steganography is in the previous video. Apply elliptic curve cryptography. This would be a good option because elliptic curve cryptography has less computational overhead. Apply lightweight cryptography. That just sounds like another way of saying elliptic curve cryptography. Or apply homomorphic encryption. I cannot remember what that is, but I believe it's when you encrypt something over and over again with the same encryption, stretching and lengthening a key, which increases security. So I'm going to go with apply elliptic curve cryptography because that sounds like the most likely answer. By using the most popular method of dispersal, data centers should best be kept at what distance from each other to ensure that they are in line with the geographic dispersal requirement. I didn't know there was a geographic dispersal requirement for data centers, but it makes sense because if a natural disaster happens, you don't want multiple data centers to go down. Therefore, to improve resiliency of a data system, you would want to space them out. My guess would be 100 miles would be plenty, even 50 miles possibly, but we'll go with 100. The process of deploying an on-premises cloud computing solution is known as ... I would think that would be private. So there's semi-cloud, which is not a thing, maybe. Hybrid cloud, which is a combination of public and private. Private cloud is only you have access to it, and public is everyone has access to it. So maybe it is semi-cloud, and I just never heard of that term. Because an on-premises cloud computing solution could be private or public. I mean, you could open it up to the whole internet, or you could have it just reserved for your employees, or you could do a little bit of both. What technology should be deployed in a company that is subject to a breach to keep their data and information safe on their servers? LPD, LDP, DPL, or DLP? Okay, DLP, I believe, is data loss prevention, so I'm going to go with that one. I'm not sure about any of these. Most geofencing applications are usually deployed on which two major connections? GPS and Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, GPS and Bluetooth, or Bluetooth and RFID. So geofencing is definitely going to include GPS, I would think. Bluetooth doesn't have a crazy amount of range. Wi-Fi has a much larger range and would be better for triangulating. For example, if you're in range of multiple access points and the access points are reporting their geographic location, that would ensure redundancy in your geolocation system. So GPS and Wi-Fi is my final answer. What special advantage does an encrypted message, which contains a digital signature, have over one that has no digital signature? Select 2. Accountability, non-repudiation, integrity, availability, confidentiality. So a digital signature would be for, I believe, accountability. Integrity would be a hash of the message itself. Non-repudiation is the same thing as integrity. I don't know how it could be. Non-repudiation basically means no one can deny that they made certain changes. Like, you always know who made which changes, which also goes in line with accountability. Integrity is knowing whether something was changed or not. It's two of these three. I'm almost certain of it. I just don't know which ones. So let's just go with accountability and non-repudiation because those seem like the two together. They make the most sense to me. To enable a patched Windows system to be able to jump back to the last obvious healthy configuration, what should be done to achieve this? A system return point a system backup point, a system restore point, or a system time point? Just from using Windows, I know the answer is system restore point. These are just other words that sound the same that are not a real thing. Which of the listed options should first be considered whilst trying to enhance security on an organization's network? What are the two most important features that deploying a NIC teaming on a server? That question's worded weird. NIC offers low latency and great throughput. NIC offers fault tolerance and lower throughput. NIC offers fault tolerance and greater throughput, or NIC offers lower latency and lower throughput. All right, NIC teaming is when you have like two network interface cards on one device, and therefore you get greater throughput and fault tolerance, because if one NIC burns out, hopefully the other NIC doesn't burn out at the exact same time, which means you have fault tolerance. Which of these crypto systems would most often provide cryptographic algorithms with low latency? Lightweight cryptography, symmetric encryption, homomorphic encryption, or steganography? Steganography is not encryption. Homomorphic encryption, symmetric. I believe symmetric encryption is the answer here. Which of these options will surely protect a phone from attack or breach from the charger being used to charge it? Fencing, lighting, USB data locker, or USB data blocker? These two are physical security measures not related to phones. It's one of these second two. I would think USB data locker, but it could be blocker. I'm not familiar with the terms that they're using. What security method can be deployed to ensure that a single individual won't be able to subvert a process? So this is a confusing question because theoretically 3 of the answers could be correct. I know they're looking for a specific one. I'm not sure why. Because if you have a 2-person control, 3-person, a 4-person, those could all work. Maybe 2-person control, like when they put the keys in for the nukes and they both have to turn them at the same time, you know? I don't know. Users are granted the grace of creating applications and hosting them on which of these cloud services? The grace. They're granted the grace. Platform as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, or desktop as a service. So this is PaaS or IaaS. I believe it's platform as a service. I believe platform as a service is where they can create their own applications. A company that lacks staff but wants to deploy modern and robust network security, what should be done to salvage the situation? This is another verbatim question, but I didn't answer it last time. I accidentally skipped it. So use an MSSP, use a proxy server, use a firewall, or use VLANs. They lack staff, but they want to increase their network security. They could use an MSSP. That's a managed security services provider. They should already be doing these two, and this one is whatever. I'm going with the first one. In a bid to ensure secure communications with customers on a bank website, which of the following options would best serve that purpose? Okay, secure communications with customers on a bank website. VPN is not necessary. They don't need to get onto your network. I believe TLS, Transport Layer Security, the modernized version of SSL, upgraded and improved, would be mandatory in most cases and the best way of securing communications. Question 42, which of the listed devices would best execute these rules? Permit IP any EQ80, permit IP any EQ43, deny IP any. Which device would best execute? That sounds like a firewall to me. A switch, yeah, not necessarily. A WAP, no. A hub, no. I'm going with firewall. What method should be deployed to ensure that old versions of code are not being rewritten into new releases in regression testing? Version indexing, version numbering, version controlling, or version placing? I don't know, this one's kind of tricky. Version numbering would help you at least keep track of versions. Which network device allows horizontal scaling during traffic issues as well as supports patching and upgrading without causing outages? Horizontal scaling, patching and upgrading without outages. A load balancer would not necessarily help. It sounds right, but it not necessarily. A switch would allow horizontal scaling. What type of solution would allow you to replace sensitive information on your database with a unique identifiers which allow you to continue taking action on the information without exposing the information? So this is pseudo-anonymization, data masking, anonymization, or tokenization. I believe tokenization is the answer here. Data masking, it hides the information, but I don't think you can keep taking action on it. Tokenization, it just kind of replaces it with like a placeholder information. So I believe that's correct. These other two are not correct, I don't think so. All right, well, let's go ahead and grade the test. We did about 28 questions because there was a lot of repeats. So let's see how we did. And by the way, if you guys enjoy this content, please subscribe. And if you like it, then like the video. All right, so let's review all questions. All right, 21 we got correct. Hooray! SIM cloning is the best way to compromise SMS. Elliptic curve cryptography was correct for lowering computational overheads. 100 miles was a lucky guess for data center distribution, but that's a good one to remember. Private cloud was correct for on-premises cloud computing. DLP was correct for keeping information safe after a breach. GPS and Wi-Fi are the two major connections used for geofencing. The correct answer for 27 was a digital signature provides non-repudiation and integrity, not non-repudiation and accountability. A digital signature is there to secure the message from being changed, and thus its integrity is intact. And it also supports non-repudiation by proving that the message is from the real sender. System restore point was correct for Windows. NIC teaming offers fault tolerance and greater throughput. Symmetric encryption does most often provide low latency. USB data blocker, not USB data locker, was the answer that they were looking for to protect a phone from being attacked by the charging cable used to charge it. Also known as USB condoms. They restrict hackers from accessing your phone's data. Cool, didn't know that. Two-person control was the correct answer for a single person not being able to subvert a process. Pass was the correct answer for the grace of creating applications and hosting them on cloud services. MSSP was the correct answer for a company that lacks staff but wants to improve network security. TLS was the correct answer for ensuring secure communications to a bank website. Firewall was the correct answer for what would best execute these rules. I just knew that from my experience with firewalls. There's a lot of allow and deny rules on firewalls. Version numbering was the correct answer for ensuring that old code's not being reused. Okay, the answer they were looking for on 45 to allow horizontal scaling and support upgrading and patching without outages was load balancer. Tokenization was correct for allowing you to take action on information without exposing it. That is all the questions we did. So hope you guys did well, and I hope you will join me in the next video. Bye.